Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to this video where I react and discuss the news that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnal will be leaving Doctor Who. Jodie Whittaker, of course, playing the 13th Doctor at the moment, and Chris Chibnal is the current showrunner, head writer, and executive producer of the programme. Now, for my opinions and thoughts on the recent Series 13 trailer, or rather a teaser, but it's marketed as a trailer, please watch a video I made about it on the Whoniversal's YouTube channel, where I give some brief thoughts on it, and also do a breakdown of the trailer, as well as also some discussion about what news we learnt at the Comic-Con panel that was held on Sunday. I haven't seen the video itself, but I know of all the information, or at least most of the information that came out about that, and I discussed that and did the trailer breakdown. So if you want my thoughts on that, go and check out the Whoniversal's video I did on that subject on that channel. And whilst you're there, also check out the video about this topic, Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnal departing, made by a very special guest, or slash returning member. I would say that was a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler anymore, so yeah, go and check it out. By the way, if there's any sort of cuts between this video, it's not because it's in editing. This is going to be a one-take video, but it's because I'm pressing the pause on this. I've got a pause option, so that I can pause it and you guys won't see any silly bloopers. Okay, so the news came on about Thursday afternoon, I think. Yeah, Thursday afternoon going into the evening. I was on a break at work when I saw the news. By the way, I've been a bit too busy to make a video over the last couple of days to actually be able to make this video until now, so here we go. But yeah, I saw the news. I haven't really watched anybody else's video on it, apart from the Whoniversal's one, of course, because Whoniversal's, I'm a member, so I have to view it out of obligation. It's not written in I have to do that, I just choose to do that, because as a fellow member, I watch my fellow members' videos. Heck, I even watch my own videos quite a lot of the time, because, I don't usually watch my own videos generally back on my own other channels, but on the Whoniversals and Tooniversals I will check them out so I can support the channel with more views, likes, and subscribing to the channels, even though I'm part of it. But yeah, basically obligated to check out. I'm obligated to check out fellow Whoniversal's videos and Tooniversal's videos, so that's why I checked the other one out. But I haven't really had an awful lot of time for anybody else to check out anybody else's. I'll try and get around to them as much as possible, but yeah, it's not going to be as easy quite a lot of the time now. Anyway, so the news we got on Thursday, and that was Thursday the 29th of July 2021, and the San Diego Comic-Con panel and trailer and information and stuff was on Sunday 25th of July 2021. Anyway, so on Thursday 29th of July 2021, and this video is being filmed on August the 1st, Sunday the 1st of August 2021. So on July 29th, we learned that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnal will be departing Doctor Who after one 6-episode series, which will be Series 13, and 2 specials to air in 2022. And before this announcement, we knew they were doing 8 episodes, and we were expecting an 8-episode series, cut down from the usual 10 in a special, so we were expecting maybe 8 episodes, maybe a special afterwards, or 7 episodes in a special, or 8 episodes and no special. That was our initial theory when everybody heard the news, and then when rumours started coming out about 2 specials coming later in 2022, maybe 3 with the one for the BBC and Centenary, there was possibility that maybe those last 3 episodes in the production blocks were going to be filmed, but they were going to be specials in 2023, or 2022, sorry, or they were going to take the place of those 3 episodes as specials. But it turns out that it's only going to be a 6-episode series, and then the other 2 were going to be specials, one of which I believe will be a New Year's special. The other one I think is going to be in the spring, so it's possible we might get our second Easter special after Planet of the Dead from 2009. After 13 bloody years, we're finally going to get an Easter special again. After 13 years. And then the last one, like Waters of Mars in 2009, is going to be we're going to have the final special in the autumn of 2022, although this time it will be October if they're aiming for the BBC One centenary as opposed to Waters of Mars, which was in November. As for a Christmas New Year special, it's possible Series 14 might start on New Year's Day 2023, theoretically, going down the same route as Series 12 did in 2020, starting on New Year's Day, and Season 9 in 1972, and the second half of Season 14 in 1976, 77, after a little bit of a gap between the end of Deadly Assassin in 76 and the start of Face of Evil in 77. Okay. After that little tangent, so basically Series 13 will be 6 episodes, but it's going to be 1 6-episode story. They're going to probably be about 50 to 60 minutes long, so we're going to have something akin to The Trial of a Time Lord and Torchwood's Children of Earth and Miracle Day, the latter two being series 3 and 4 of Torchwood, and the former one being Doctor Who season 23 of the classic series. So Trial of a Time Lord basically was a series-long plot device spanning 14 episodes, and all 14 episodes said The Trial of a Time Lord parts 1 to 14, but you could segregate the stories into 3 4-parters, The Mysterious Planet, Mind Warp, Terror of the Vervoids, and a single 2-parter, I wanted to use this one, a single 2-parter, The Ultimate Foe. Torchwood Children of Earth is a literal 5-episode series, which is literally a 5-part story. Miracle Day sort of follows a similar format at 10 episodes, but it's also similar to Trial of the Time Lord. It's also a bit more of a framing device rather than a literal 10-part story. But at the same time, it does hold some similarities to Children of Earth. So you kind of got your myth. So I think Series 13 is either going to go down over the Children of Earth route or the Miracle Day route. Actually, no, on Wikipedia it's listed as one single story, so it might be going more down the Trial of a Time Lord route, actually. Yeah. So we could be having a mix of Children of Earth and Trial of a Time Lord with Series 13. It's a literal 6-part story. It might be something part 1, something part 2, etc. Or they will have individual episode titles, but maybe there's a overall title before that, again, like Trial of a Time Lord. It's also worth noting, before this announcement, when we heard the announcement on that it's going to be one big story, but we didn't know it was going to be a 6-part, it was cut down from 8 to 6 episodes, not cut down, but it was going to be 6 episodes instead of 8. We kind of also thought maybe it might be like season 16, The Key to Time, where it was a big series-long arc, not too dissimilar to some of the other new series we've had, but yeah, I think it's going to be something akin to Trial of a Time Lord or Children of Earth or Miracle Day. Possibly Children of Earth if they're going to be something part 1, something part 2. This leaves the last 2 episodes that were in production as the following 2 specials, and as mentioned earlier, we're going to get a third special that will be the BBC One Centenary, or BBC Centenary. It won't be BBC One, that's only 90 odd years old. No, the Centenary of the BBC, which would have started with the radio. The centenary of the BBC it's going to be in next autumn 2022. So we're going to be getting 3 specials next year, and one of which will be landing on around October time. One of them will be New Year's Day. The last one is probably going to be spring, so maybe Easter. We can speculate Easter. Or maybe like Waters of Mars, it's going to be on a random date in the spring or the summer. Waters of Mars was a random date in the autumn of 2009. Actually, the date that they had in that episode was actually the date of 21st of November 2059 when the story was set. They could have actually delayed that episode 1 week later, and they would have landed on the 21st of November 2009, literally 50 years before the story broadcast. Oh well, never mind. So yeah, that's some interesting information. But the big news is that Jodie Whittaker and Chibnal will be stepping down after Series 13 and the 3 specials, meaning that they literally will have 5 years from end of 2017 to almost the end of 2022. It's literally Chibnall's 5-year plan really was a literal 5-year plan and not 5 series plan like we kind of expected it to be. But yeah, it literally is a 5-year plan over 3 series, and although one of them is cut down to almost half the length of the other two, and also 5 specials. Although, again, because of the COVID situation, which is why Series 13 is cut down to 6 episodes instead of and 3 specials instead of 10 episodes in a special. So in short, this series is only going to be about 32 episodes total for the 13th Doctor and the Chibnall era, with 11 episodes from Series 11, including the special. Same for Series 12, and then 9 episodes for Series 13, including its 3 specials, making it 31 actually. It's going to be 31 episodes of the Chibnall and Whittaker eras, respectively. Chibnall for showrunner, Whittaker for Doctor. And if we take serials and stories and full-length stories into account, it's 20 at the moment out of 22 episodes. Over 22 episodes, we've had 2 two-parters. So that's 20 episodes so far. Sorry, it's 20 serials so far, over 22 episodes. And we've got 4 more serials over 9 episodes. One of the serials will be a 6-parter, and then the other 3 will be 1-parters. And also, I actually before this the whole information about Series 13 being cut down in episodes, etc., I was predicting Series 13 at some point to have the 300th story in it. That when Series 12 was coming around, I was predicting the 300th story won't be this year. This series, it's going to be next series. Series 13 is going to have the 300th story. But with it being one story over 6 episodes, that's only going to be the 297th story. Revolution of the Daleks was 296. So we're only going to be getting the 297th story this year, although it will be a 6-parter. However, the final special will be story number 300, as we're getting 3 single-part specials probably next year. The last one for the last 13th Doctor story will be the 300th serial of the show. If you don't include Sharda and you consider Trial of a Time Lord as 1 story, not 4, and not including minisodes and bonus episodes and spin-offs, etc. But you do include Mission to the Unknown as a standalone story, and not part of Dalek's master plan. So considering all of those rules and everything, based on all of that fact, the 300th story will be the final episode for the 13th Doctor. That is quite big, and considering the 200th episode, the 200th story, the 200th story was the 10th Doctor's 3rd to last story and the 4th to last episode he was in. That's quite big. Oh, and the 100th story was the Androids of Tara, which was the 4th story of season 16. I was going to say about halfway through the 4th Doctor's era, but that would be a series sooner, about halfway through season 15. It was, let's say it's the 2/3 mark. The 2/3 mark of the 4th Doctor's era, but he still had 2.5 seasons left, basically. 2.3 seasons after the Androids of Tara left, whilst the 10th Doctor only had 4 episodes. And the 13th Doctor, that's it, she's off at the end of the 300th story. I wonder what will happen in the 400th, but we're going to have another 100 stories, and don't know how many of those will be single-parters, don't know how many will be 2 or multi-part stories. This is going to be the first 6-part story, actually, since the Armageddon Factor, which was at the end of season 16, with Tom Baker's Doctor. However, if you edited the first 2 episodes, the 3rd and 4th episodes, and the 5th and 6th episodes to make 3 50-minute episodes, that's only half the length of the series. So actually, Series 13 is going to be more akin to the length of the Daleks' master plan. So it's going to be the first 6-parter since the Armageddon Factor, or Sharda if you count that, but it's going to be as long as the Daleks' master plan. So it won't be the longest Doctor Who story. It'll be the longest Doctor Who story, with each episode being around 50-60 minutes. But in the terms of the longest story, that's still going to be Trial of a Time Lord, if you count that. And if you count Trial of a Time Lord as the 4 separate ones, then it's in competition with Dalek's master plan. Again, it depends whether you count Mission to the Unknown as part of it or not. I'd say it's a standalone story, but it's definitely a prelude story to master plan. It's a bit like if the New Year special after Series 13 was an epilogue to the series, but it wasn't episode 7 of the story, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so as for my opinions on the 13th Doctor going, it's actually I've not really had an awful big emotional reaction to this because the rumours have been going on for, what is it, it's the 1st of August. We've had a big rumour of the 13th Doctor leaving since the 3rd of January 2021. I did a video about that. We've always had some sort of rumours about Jodie leaving at some point. There's been a lot of fake ones over the last 2 or so years about it, but the one from January seemed very legitimate, or at least makes a bit more sense, or at least more reasonable than some of the other sources, due to being other reports, due to having a reliable source behind the article, getting more things right than wrong, as opposed to certain other people who most of them seem to be just making up stuff. Like, actually, I won't name names, but some people just been making up stuff about it. But this particular one in January seemed pretty strong in truth, or at the very least, a more likely chance of being right than certain other people. And of course, there's been all these leaks over the last few months, etc., and the speculation maybe Jodie's going after Series 13 and after these specials, but she won't be doing Series 14. But maybe there's that possibility she might stay on. Well, it's been confirmed Series 13 is going to be the last series, and she's going after the after completing a couple specials afterwards, so those reports have been true. There's going to be a trio of specials after the series, but the series will be 6 episodes, not 8, and so it won't be 8 in specials, it'll be 6 in specials. So there really will be 2 episodes of the production block lost thanks to fucking COVID. In fact, the only reason we're getting a 9th episode, 6 episodes and then 3, the only reason we're getting a 3rd special basically is because it was specially commissioned by the BBC for the centenary. Otherwise, that 2nd special might have been the last story with the 13th Doctor. We got that one extra special because the BBC wanted a one. Or at least that's what I've heard. The BBC wanted one to celebrate their centenary. Good on them for commissioning another episode, and of course it will be added onto the production block. But was production ahead of schedule by the sounds of it, and with restrictions easing on set a little bit, they could possibly manage it, and they got about a year and a third or something to make it, so they don't have to worry too much if it takes a while to make. This also gives the next showrunner, whoever they are, about a year and a half to prepare their series. Just like how when Chibnal was announced back in early 2016, with Moffat departing, he had about a year. He had about a year to finish Broadchurch and then get started on Doctor Who, which would then air about 2 and 3rd years later. It was October. The news came in January 2016, and the series was October 2018. But of course, the series would enter production at the end of 2017. So Chibnall had about a year and a half to finish Broadchurch and then plan Series 11 before it went into production. So the next showrunner has about a year and a half. Presuming Series 14 starts airing around New Year's Day 2023, or Christmas Day 2022, they've got about just under a year and a half to plan and film the 14th series. By the time they get around to filming it, the specials for 2022 should be done. Well, I think we're almost done anyway. I mean, the last special would be done by then. But yeah, it's because back to the point I was going to make. The reason I'm not so upset about the 13th Doctor leaving at the moment, firstly, because it's still going to be about a year and a third away. Sorry, it's going to be a year and, what is it? It's August now. A year and 2 months or so. 2 to 3 months away, so we're not going to be saying goodbye to her yet. It's not like when we heard about the 12th Doctor departing. That was January 2017. Technically he left at Christmas 2017, but before we knew that, we were expecting him to leave at the end of Series 10 with the possibility of a special afterwards. But it was under a year. Matt Smith announced his department on the 1st of June 2013, and he left on Christmas that year. David Tennant announced his department around autumn 2008, and he left about a year and a third later. So we got a bit of, so it's around a similar time to David Tennant's announcement. Actually, we still got about a year and a third or so to the 13th Doctor's departures. And also we've got a series and three special 6-episode series and 3 specials to watch first. So we still got 9 episodes left. Yay! But the main reason I'm not so upset at the moment is because all of these rumours for the last several months have kind of deflated the reaction a bit, because of all of these rumours going around. Even if they were true or not, they just have to sit on it for a few months. It's kind of deflated the emotion because we've half expected it to happen. And because it's only really, we didn't really expect when it would happen, and it does kind of a surprise when it just does happen, but we kind of expect it to happen eventually. So, I mean, not eventually as in, oh yeah, she will go eventually, she will do a couple series and go eventually. I mean, literally, eventually in the year, or early next year. I mean, like, it would only be a matter of time, as opposed to, yeah, they would go after a couple of years, and eventually they will go once they think they feel like they're ready to move on. What I mean is, like, we hear the rumors and the clock will count down, and eventually we will get the official announcement of some sort, a different sort of meaning, if you understand. And because of that, we kind of half expected this to happen anyway at some point. So, yeah. So that's why I'm not too upset at the moment. Not too. I'm a bit surprised they announced it now. Not. Of course, they probably wouldn't have announced it at Comic-Con because that was more about promoting the series. But it is a bit of a surprise that they announced it now, towards the end of July, just after the Comic-Con panel. But at the same time, because we've been bombarded with rumors, and it just takes the wind out of the sail a little bit, at least for me, because I've just been hearing Jodie may be leaving at the end of the year, and of course the speculation. It's kind of knocked the emotion out of it. I mean, I'm not disappointed or upset. I'm a bit disappointed that a Doctor's going. I'm always disappointed when a Doctor goes. That's typical. That's general. I know for some people they will get really upset because they really like Jodie, and for even more people they will get really happy because they don't like her, or at least her Doctor. For me, I like the 13th Doctor, and I like Jodie in the role. They're not neither of them us very high in my ranking, but I do like them. I don't hate any of them. So, yeah, or even dislike. I don't dislike any of them. I love all of them, including the ones that haven't had much screen time. And looking at you, War and Fugitive Doctors, and also the 8th Doctor. Although there has also been expanded media for all of this. Well, not so much for Fugitive, but there might be a reason for that. The whole secrecy stuff, we might find out some truths about them when we get to maybe Series 13 and all the specials. We'll see how it goes. If not, we've got some questions on our minds afterwards. Same for the whole China's child stuff. But yeah, I'm always disappointed when a Doctor goes, but I think the whole rumour stuff about Jodie going has kind of been knocked out of my sail because it's been going on for at least half a year. No, more than half a year. It's been going on for nearly 8 months. And that's not even taking into account the other rumors and misinformation and speculation that have happened over the past 2 years beforehand, since Series 11, pretty much more so around the Series 12 time, but certainly over the last 8 months or so, it's been a bit more strong, and it's only been more of a matter of when rather than if. What I didn't expect, actually, was Chris Chibnal is also going with... He's going with Jodie, which was a possibility, but that was if Jodie did 4 or 5 series. What we didn't expect is that Chris Chibnal is stepping down after only 3 series. He's not going to do up to Series 15, which is what we kind of expected, both from the 5-year plan. As I mentioned earlier, it might have been a 5 series plan, or he was just contracted to do the 5 series that had been commissioned by the BBC. But no, he's just doing 3 series, and he's going out with his Doctor, and they agreed to do a 3 series run together. COVID, of course, has impacted the final one, but They decided to go on this one big 6-part story, culminating with 3 specials, including the centenary one, BBC centenary one, which they apparently commissioned. And the BBC commissioned. So yeah, but as I mentioned, this both showrunner and Doctor's eras will be this showrunner and this Doctor's era will only be 31 episodes over. It's 20 serials at the moment. 24 stories, because it's going to be 4 stories over 9 episodes. It's only going to be 24 stories of this era. That's actually going to be the lowest number of serials since, well, excluding Christopher Eccleston, because he also only did one series. He only did one series, with 13 episodes over 10 stories over 13 episodes. Before him, the 6th Doctor technically only has 8 if you count Trial of a Time Lord as one story. If you count it as 4, he's got 11, and 7th Doctor's got 12. It's got 12. So the 13th Doctor's going to join the 6th, 7th, and 9th Doctors, and the 5th Doctor. He's only got 20. She's going to join the 80s Doctors and the 9th Doctor in having the lowest number of serials of the show. 4th Doctor's got about 41, 42 if you can count Sharda. I think he's got the most. Matt Smith, 11th Doctor's got the most of the new series at 39. The 10th Doctor's got 38, I think. I might be wrong. The 12th Doctor's got 36, but he had one less episode each series to the 10th and 11th Doctors. Then again, the 10th Doctor had a few more specials than the other two. The first had 29. The second had about 21. Oh, the second Doctor's also is also in that group of low number stories, and the third Doctor's got 24. Okay, maybe the 13th Doctor's kind of in the middle, but it does look quite low in comparison to her 3 predecessors, mainly due to the cut number of episodes down to 10 for the first 2 series and 6 for the third. Then again, that was due to COVID. Fuck COVID. 13 support. Support the 13th Doctor, not COVID-19. I would take the 13th Doctor over COVID-19 any day. And if you prefer COVID-19 to the 13th Doctor, okay, you go and catch it then. That might have sounded a bit mean, but I'd rather hang out with the 13th Doctor than catch the coronavirus. Comment down below what you prefer, watching the 13th Doctor, or just knowing they're around, or catching COVID, or just knowing it's around. I know what I prefer. I was just tangent about it. But anyway, Chris Chibnal departing, it was a bit of a surprise. It was very surprising. We've been speculating about who might take over from Chibnal after Series 13, or later if he was to stay on later. Pete McTeague is a popular name that's been bounced around, although he's only done 2 episodes of the show in Series 11 and 12, and I don't even know if he's coming back for Series 13. The Series 11 episode was Kablam, and 12 was Praxius. Both divisive stories for different reasons, but Kablam's is more liked by the audience and the fans. It's a more liked story, whilst Praxius not so much. It's a bit less liked. YouTuber and subscriber to this channel, Harry Thomas, despises the latter story. But Kablam's quite popular amongst the audiences who actually watched the episode and aren't haters. From the audiences who actually did watch the episode and didn't automatically hate it because it's a 13th Doctor story, it's quite a well-liked one. And yeah, I agree, it's a really great one. Some of the messaging is a bit awkward or not quite as great, but it's still a fun episode. Praxis, I actually think is pretty good. Actually, I might have been a bit nice on it on its revisitation review, but it's pretty good anyway. It's better than some other episodes of that series, and it does its political message a bit better than a similar episode. I'm looking at you, Orphan 55, which sucks. And yeah, Ed Himes returning for Series 13. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially after I liked It Takes You Away a bit more on the revisitation review, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but third strike. Or maybe it wouldn't be so much of a strike now that I like It Takes You Away a bit more, but, I'm still a bit hesitant, but, third time, maybe he'll do something really good, really great. Or maybe it'll suck, I don't know. Excited to see Maxine Horton's coming back for the series, and she's been another name that's been floating around as a potential showrunner. There was one rumour that maybe that she and Vinay Patel, who wrote Fugitive of the Jadoon and Demons of the Punjab, would team up together to be the showrunners. Maxine Alderton wrote Haunting of Illa Diodati. Could be a great team up. It'd be good to have two people as the head writers and showrunners, so that if one has some really crazy ideas, the other could maybe step in, or maybe they'd work together really well. It's a bit like Barry Letts and Terence Dicks, or Philip Hinchcliffe and Robert Holmes, except the script editors are also the producers as well, and that's basically what we get here with this team up. In my opinion, I think the next showrunner should have both producing and writing experience, or at the very least have written at least 3, maybe 4 stories for the show before, or have some good knowledge or information about the show. So Pete McTeague, he's only written 2 episodes, but he has great knowledge of the show, and he's done a lot of the stuff for the collection box sets, including writing and directing the little specials and shorts and announcement trailers. So he's got strong knowledge of the show. None of the series 11 and 12 episode writers have done more than 1 or 2 episodes each, apart from Chibnal, of course. Pre-Chibnal era, my personal favourite choices of writers and before Chibnal would be Mark Gatiss and Toby Whithouse, both of which have producing experience, and both of them have done lots of episodes for the show over the first 10 series. Mark Gatiss did 1 in Series 1, 1 in Series 2, 1 in Series 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10, and 2 in Series 7, as well as an Adventure in Space and Time. Toby Whithouse did 1 in Series 2, 1 in 6, 1 in 7, 1 in... I was going to say 8. 1 in 10, and 2 in 9, which was a 2-parter. I don't think Mark Gatiss has written any 2-parters, actually. That'd be interesting if he ever did a 2-parter at some point. But yeah, those would be my personal 2 choices for a pre-Chibnal era writer. Some other writers like Neil Cross and Matthew Graham have had producing experience. Oh, and Neil Gaiman now, of course. They've had producing experience and written for the show, but again, they haven't written as many episodes. Also, I don't know who would want Matthew Graham being the Doctor Who showrunner following his episodes. Seriously, I think Chibnal would get a reappraisal if Matthew Graham would be the Doctor Who showrunner. He can do stuff like Life on Mars, I'm sure. But when it came to his Doctor Who stories, I think we'd be more worried than Chibnal. I think more worried about that than when Chibnal was hired and people weren't so fond of his stories. Chibnal, I think, did about 4 Doctor Who stories, plus a few minisodes before he was hired to be the new showrunner. Stephen Moffat did 4 stories before and also a minisode before he took over from Russell T Davies, and Russell T Davies was basically the guy to bring it back in the first place. So it makes sense for those guys, but we'll see how it goes. It might become someone completely new for the next showrunner. But yeah, I think it's a bit surprising Chibnal decided to go with Series 13 and not stay on for Series 15. This does, however, bring us to a bit of a question, because the BBC are definitely carrying on with the show up to Series 15 at the very least. There will be the 60th anniversary. It's probable Series 14 will come first, then the 60th anniversary, then maybe Series 15, and that'll be 2023, and then 2024, theoretically. But the question does stand, if there is a new showrunner brought in and a new Doctor, do they only get 2 years? Unless the BBC decide to recommission it after Series 15, I'm not sure if they will have enough time to establish themselves. They only have 2 years. That was also a worry that if Jodie was going to leave after Series 13 or Series 14, how many years would the next Doctor have? If it doesn't get commissioned after Series 15, how long would they have? Maybe they commission Series 16, and that Doctor would then get 3 series, just like everybody else in the new series. But with Chibnal stepping down, that doesn't seem as likely. But instead, we might get the new showrunner, new Doctor. They might go on Series 14, 15, 16, if 16 gets commissioned. Don't know if any more after Series 16, which would be 2025 if it came out, if they were yearly from 2023. We'll see how it goes, but we don't know if there'll be any more after Series 15 just yet. They haven't announced that. But we definitely know there'll be a new showrunner for 14 and 15 and a new Doctor for those 2 series. It's after 15 will they do any more? because they were only got commissioned up to 15 at the moment, series 15 at the moment. Are they going to go to Series 16, have one more and wrap it up there, or will it carry on beyond Series 16? Will the same team will it be the same production team, same Doctor, same showrunner but different Doctor? So the 15th Doctor in Series 17. I'm not sure at this point. With Chibnal staying on for Series 14, 15, maybe 16, there was hope that we'd have one more Doctor for 2, maybe 3 years. And then if the show was going to go away or take a break or something, that would be the time after after 15 or Series 15 or 16 and the 14th Doctor's era. But with Chibnall stepping down with Jodie, this now makes the next era only going to be 2 years unless they commission the series either for another year for Series 16 and make it 3 again for both showrunner and Doctor, or beyond Series 16 and beyond. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm not too upset about Chibnall leaving, though, but that doesn't mean it's because I didn't like him or anything. I mean, I'm not too fussed on the era, but I did like it. I do like the era. Well, not everything works. Some of the writing could be a bit better, and some of the decisions made are pretty bad. Same with the Moffat era. The Moffat era made some pretty questionable decisions, and not all of them were good. So it's a bit like that. And the same, I could say the same for the 13th Doctor's era, but I do like the era overall. It's just that there could have been a lot more, there could have been a bit more to improve it, especially with the big main story arc. However, I am holding out for that being given a satisfying conclusion by the final episode of the 13th Doctor's era. Hopefully. It's the least we deserve. But yeah, it is a bit disappointing that this Doctor and showrunner are going, but as it is always, unless you're someone who really doesn't like the era. But at the same time, because of the rumours going around, it's knocked the wind out of the sail a little bit, at least for the Doctor, but for the showrunner, that was a big surprise, despite some rumours saying otherwise. But big surprise, as it is only going to be 3 series for Chris Chibnall. But oh well, never mind. Maybe some people will start liking the show again with the next showrunner. I don't know. Or maybe Series 13 will be the best series ever. I'm not expecting it to be the best series ever, but maybe it'll be the best series ever, and people are like, oh, actually, we do really like Chris Chibnall. We do really like Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker. Oh, no, they're going now. Damn, just as they were getting great. Just as I was restarting to like them more, and now they're going. Well, isn't that flat-flipping typical? In all honesty, I do hope Series 13 is the best of the 3 13th Doctor series. It's high hopes, but expectations, I'm not expecting it to be that great. That being said, it is a series with the number 13 in it, and it's a series that's a multiple of 13, both Series 13 of the new series and Season 39 overall, 39 being the third multiple of 13. And considering Seasons 13 and 26 are 2 of my favourite classic series, and 2 of my favourite series overall, Series 13 Season 39 could possibly at least be in my top 13 series. I'll do a ranking of my favourite Doctor Who series and seasons, all 39 of them. It'll probably be a multi-parts ranking after New Year's Day 2022. Even though the last 2 specials wouldn't have technically broadcast by then. But I'm not waiting until 2023 to do it. So yeah, I'll probably do a ranking of the seasons from or the first 39 seasons in early 2022, and I hope that Series 13 is in at least the top 13, the top third. Hopefully, fingers crossed, at the very least, even if it's not as good as seasons 13 or 26. But yeah, so that's my reaction and thoughts on the 13th Doctor and Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall leaving. I think it'll be a bit more sad when they do go closer to the time in a year and a first time, or at the very least after Series 13, and we're looking forward to the final 13th Doctor episodes, as well as who will be taking over from Chris Chibnall as showrunner and who they will cast as the 14th Doctor. Considering regeneration and with barriers being broken down with the first female and the first black actors playing the Doctor, anything is on the table for the Doctor. And the Doctor is a character where you really can put anything on the table due to the biology of the character, as opposed to, say, James Bond, who literally is a white male guy, unless you do a complete reboot of say Bond 26 is a complete reboot, is a completely different timeline to the Daniel Craig films or the original 20 films, then you could possibly get a black actor in for that, and it's separate, but you'd have to commit to keeping that for that timeline unless you reboot it again later down the line. But also with other adaptations of stuff like Sherlock Holmes, for instance, one adaptation well, here's an example. Sherlock, the TV series, has the usual white male Sherlock and Watson, but Elementary has that for Sherlock, but it has a woman of Asian culture, I think, Lucy Liu playing Joan Watson in that series. So other alternative versions of alternative takes can also do that. They can play around with that. When it comes to Doctor Who, due to the biology of the character, the Doctor and Time Lords can literally become anybody. It's just that the first 13 Doctors were white men from the UK between the ages of 25 and 60 upon being cast, apart from John Hurt, who was about 75 when he was cast, but the War Doctor would have been in that 25 to 60 age range after the regeneration, and he just would have gotten to how he was in Dave the Doctor, played by a mid-70s John Hurt in that story. So, yeah, it's just because we've been so used to that. It's probably why people got so much into a tizzy when Jodie Whittaker was cast in the first place. We got so used to it that when the time actually came, half the fan base blew up. Understandably, some people aren't so keen on the idea, but it's a literal blow up. Like the biggest anti-casting of the Doctor reaction, or second biggest, depending on this or Matt Smith's. I think Peter Capaldi actually got it light compared to his predecessor and successor. But considering now we've gotten our first female Doctor and we've got our first Black Doctor with Jo Martin, and considering the Doctor's biology, you can argue all you bloody want, but it's fact. It's in the biology. Anything's on the card. Anything's on the table. Any card can be played. You can cast anybody, and it would make 100% sense. It could be another woman. It could be another person of color, or you could go back to being a white man again. It could be someone who's between 25 and 60. It could be someone who's older than 60. Heck, you could even have a bloody teenager. Maybe even have a child. Maybe even a baby play the Doctor. Okay, that won't happen, but because of the biology, that would make sense. You can have someone who's gay. Ollie Alexander has been a name that's floating around. He'd be the first gay actor to play the Doctor. You could have someone who's trans. You could have an animal playing the Doctor. The Doctor even theorized he might have two heads or no heads in parting of the ways. You could have someone. You could even have someone in makeup, like with Vision from the MCU. You can have someone in makeup, or make them look like an animal, just not non-human, basically, and that would still make sense. So when it comes to regeneration, when it comes to casting, or how the Doctor is going to be in the series, anything is on the table. All cards down. Anything is possible. And that's the beauty and the genius of regeneration. The only thing is we've been so used to white men between the ages of 25 and 60 for the first 55 odd years, that apart from John Hurt. But when the first female actor was cast, it really put a spanner in the works, and a lot of people, as I mentioned, blew up about it. So, but because now that's happened, and now Jo Martin's also been cast, saying that yes, people of colour can also play the Doctor, and we've had that as well when spoof Minnesotan stuff. Heck, Curse of the Fatal Death basically predicted the first female Doctor being the 13th. Lenny Henry is technically the first Doctor of colour if you count spoofs and sketches. And you've even had Basil Brush be the Doctor in a sketch at some point. You've had animals. So, and with the barriers now officially broken down in the official series, and there's also Big Finish's Unbound series as well, had some different Doctors, including one female being the third Doctor. I wonder if that predicted the Fugitive Doctor. Depends on how that story goes along. But actually, that was another thing. I thought maybe the Fugitive Doctor might be the 14th Doctor. That's a possibility, but that was only if Chris Chibnal was going to do series 14, 15, maybe 16, or the next showrunner would take over with series 16, but they would have one more year with Jo Martin, and then maybe and a couple more years with the success, the 15th Doctor. But now that Chibnal's leaving, that doesn't look likely. Okay, in that case, I'm holding out for that rumour that she's between the second and third Doctor. Yeah, it fucks up the numbers a bit, but at least it makes sense, and it makes that 10th Doctor regenerating into himself from Stolen Earth Journey's End either not count, or there is a bonus regeneration added on, and that's the 11th Doctor. Just so long as she's not before the first Doctor, because I don't really like that idea, but I do like the Fugitive Doctor, so I prefer her to be between 2 and 3 instead of before 1. At least the numbers still can, even if they're a bit effed up, it can still kind of work if you remove the Stolen Earth regeneration, or you say 11 is a bonus regeneration added on to the Doctor. They doesn't think, oh, I've only had 12 bodies at the end when they don't remember the Fugitive Doctor with the time to write their memories, etc. I've talked about this before. But yeah, final notes before I to wrap up. Yeah, it was a bit of surprising news, despite, even though it shouldn't have been, but it was surprising when it was. But yeah, it's I'm not too sad at the moment. I might be sadder closer to the time, because it's still a bit of time away, and it's not an era I've been particularly loving. I like it, but I'm not loving it. But it is, of course, always disappointing when a Doctor goes, when a showrunner goes, and so it's a bit disappointing, but I'm not too upset about it. Also, I've been through, how many Doctors have left now? I think Tennant, Smith, and Capaldi are all ones that have left since I started watching this show. So I'm not too sad about it. After 3 Doctors going, whilst it's still sad for 1 to go, I don't think I'm too upset about it. But yeah, but I do look forward to their final 9 episodes over their final 4 stories, with the last one being the 300th story overall. That's something to look forward to. And then Series 14, we're going to get the 14th Doctor under a new showrunner, and they'll have the 60th, hopefully they'll have the series first, and then the 60th anniversary afterwards, Series 15, and then we'll see what happens next. Right, so that's really about it from me. Thank you for watching. I know this video is very long. It's gone 47 minutes in recording. So, yeah, I was only hoping to make a 30-minute one at most, but anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you liked it and didn't find it too boring. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.